We are finally on the ferry to Newfoundland. The trip from North Sydney, Nova Scotia to Port aux Basques, Newfoundland normally takes about 7 hours. This time it took about 5. We left a couple hours early before normal departure time and traveled at a higher rate of speed to beat the hurricane to the east. It was cold, windy, and rainy, so we didn't spend any time on the deck outside, but otherwise it was an uneventful crossing. The island of Newfoundland is 42,000 square miles in size and a 560-mile drive from Port aux Basques to the capital city of St. John's on the east side of the island. Part 3 of our series will cover some highlights as we travel up the west coast to the Northern Peninsula, where we spend over a week near St. Anthony, taking in the sights and culture of the area. We spent the first couple of days near Doyle's at the Grand Caudroy RV Park. We were waiting out the weather, exploring the Caudroy Valley, and acclimating to island life. Our next stop was Cowhead, and then back on the road heading north. Not far north of Cowhead is Arches Provincial Park. It is definitely worth a stop to see this beautiful feature carved by the sea. As we continued driving north, the amount of remaining snow increased. This region, from St. Anthony to St. Lunaire-Griquet to Carpoon to Lanza Meadows, was our home for a week and a half. We settled into the Viking RV Park and began to explore our surroundings. There was still a fair amount of snow in the campground for the end of May. We saw a polar bear trap in St. Anthony that is used to contain and transport the unwelcome guests back to Labrador. Kenneth Keats posted some video of a curious polar bear surprising the occupant of this home less than 2 months before we arrived. Well, for some reason, our trip to Carpoon Island has been canceled. And there's the boat we should be riding. I really don't think it matters what size boat you'd be on today. Nobody's out there. It's blowing 25 to 35 and the trip has been canceled. Maybe we'll get on it tomorrow. Fingers crossed. We're sad. And relieved that we don't have to go out in that. We'll probably have to go eat chocolate. Instead of the Lighthouse Inn adventure, we explored on land and went to the local cafe for treats. Our eyes were always straining through the fog to see where icebergs may be hiding. One of the reasons we headed up the Northern Peninsula so early in our trip was to experience the Iceberg Festival. The mayor took a break from his day job to come and raise the Iceberg Festival flag. I ate an iceberg donut, and we began official iceberg visual pursuit and event participation. This iceberg was about 1.5 miles from our campground. We had the privilege of watching it change throughout the week. It was grounded on the seafloor, so it stayed in the same place. We checked on it in the morning and evening each day. It initially broke in half and then continued to break into smaller pieces until all that were left were birdie bits, tiny pieces of an iceberg. Dear, what did you find today?
Found a birdie bit.
Where?
On the beach.
Look at that.
Isn't that cool?
That's an old piece of ice. I tell ya. I don't think we're going to be able to keep the whole thing and take it home.
No. I don't know.
It's got really pretty shape to it. Alright, give it a whack. Well, we're going to we're going to knock it down to a piece we can keep in the freezer. It'll last longer. There we go. It's probably good enough. The iceberg spotting was plentiful, but we were curious how many we would see if there was ever a clear day. During our day trip to Conch on the French shore, we saw 8 moose and 5 caribou. Rebecca snapped this amazing photo of a bull with his antlers just starting to come in for the season. And here's a caribou laying way off in the distance.
We're calling this Moose Doodle Trail.
Yeah, how come?
Because if you look closely, that's Moose Doodle.
It's hard to avoid it.
And then it's here, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there.
This is the start of our second week in Newfoundland.
Yep.
And it's been there has been a lot of wind, cool weather, rain, and here we are, not far from the French shore, close to
Conch.
The town of Conch, south of St. Anthony, is located on the east coast of the Northern Peninsula, known as the French shore. This is where migratory fishermen from France pursued the plentiful cod fishery in the early 1500s. People of Conch and a French couple worked for a couple of years to create a 216-foot-long tapestry depicting the history of the region. This was done in a format inspired by the world-famous Bayeux Tapestry, which tells the story of the events surrounding the conquest of England in 1066 by the Duke of Normandy. We found a forest trail out of the wind, a trail heavily used by moose. So we're sticking close together and we're making noise so that we don't see a moose unexpectedly and surprise them in the middle of a food. They get grumpy then.
Uh-huh.
It's nice. Beautiful, beautiful river. But we gotta get back to town for
Our kitchen party.
a kitchen party with Aaron McInnes.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
We enjoyed the tea and gossip event where pastry chef Aaron McInnes shared cake decorating tips and a demonstration. His book Happy Belly, full of cake recipes and tips, had just come out and he was eager to share. Chef Aaron, along with many locals, prepared a meal of toutons and fish cakes for the traditional kitchen party, which included music, dancing, and mummers. We thought we were really getting to know Chef Aaron by the time we went to high tea at Cafe Nymph. The plate of treats was amazing. Learn more about him at Man vs. Cake. One of the last events we participated in was learning the art of rug hooking in traditional Grenfell style. Una Davis and Linda Coffin are great teachers, and we hope to start on the kit we bought soon. Until we finish our rug, we can enjoy looking at the rug we purchased from Linda that hangs in our dining room. Thank you for sharing, ladies. A visit to the Northern Peninsula is not complete without spending time at Lanza Meadows, National Historic and UNESCO World Heritage Site. The location contains the excavated remains of an 11th century Viking settlement. It is the first and only known site established by Vikings in North America and the earliest evidence of European settlement in the New World. Just past Lanza Meadows is the Norseman Restaurant, where Chef Adrian prepares delicious and eye-catching meals using locally harvested seafood, wild game, and other specialties. You will also find on the menu tasty cocktails flavored with local berries and that are chilled by icebergs. We did manage to find a day warm enough for a bike ride. We loved our time on the Northern Peninsula and look forward to returning someday. Please watch for part 4 of our series when we take a ferry to Labrador and explore a tiny portion of this beautiful land. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel, JoLee Living. Leave a comment below if you have been to Newfoundland or plan to. Thank you, and see you next time.